Okay, I think we are good to go now. So I think before we start, I normally like my presentation to be interactive. So later, I would love everyone to participate and also contribute according to how the session is going to run. So I normally make my presentations to be interactive. I don't want it to be quiet. I don't want to be talking alone here to do all the talking because you're going to be, bored. Like you, sometimes also when one person speak, it will not look okay. So to me, it's always it feels good to me when I'm talking and also make sure that people are getting something from what I'm presenting. So I just want to begin it this way. I just want you to imagine with me right now, okay? I just want you to imagine with me this guy here, okay? This guy, his name is Daniel, okay? So he's 27 old, okay, 27 years old. He's educated, ambitious, hardworking, and highly talented, okay? Not only that, he also has, a university degree. He has a good job. He has goals. He wants to become a leader. That's all our aim and ambition sometimes. Okay? He wants to be leaders, right, in the future. He wants to build a successful career. He wants to make a difference in his community. But listen, Daniel is doing everything right. If you see his vision, if you see what he's already paving in his way, he's doing everything right. But there's one problem here. Every morning, Daniel wakes up already tired. He sleeps at 1 a.m. because he was finishing work. He wakes up at 6 a.m. He skips slept late, a sugary drink on his way to work. He spent almost the entire day sitting at a desk. He barely drinks water. Lunch is wherever he is can quickly find. Okay. By 3 p.m., he's exhausted already. So he drinks another energy drink. At 6 p.m., he still has work to finish. He gets some tired. But instead of resting, he spent another 2 hours on his phone. That's what we normally do all the time. We love our smartphone. Even sometimes we don't sleep when they're off. He then sleeps late again. And the next morning, the cycle starts. It's just a loop every day. This happens to him. I wanted to also consider this analogy, okay, with me. Think about your phone. I think this is going to be a good analogy for us, all of us, because in this .com world that we are all in, everyone almost has a smartphone. Okay. If your phone is 100%, you can use it comfortably, right? All of you can agree with me. When your phone is fully charged, sometimes you feel like you don't even want to, like use it because you love how it's full. You see the 100 there. It makes you comfortable. At 50%, you still fine. You'll still be using it. It's still cool with you. At 20%, you start thinking about charging it. That's when now you feel like, I think my phone is almost running off now. Right? So I should take it to charging center. I should, put it, to charge if you have access to, power at home. At 5%, you become very careful now, very careful. But imagine with me, okay? I just want you to imagine. Imagine someone now comes to you. This scenario here, right now. Your phone is already off, like running off now. It's only 5%. And then someone from nowhere says to you, don't charge it. Just increase the brightness and keep it open, like keep opening more apps. Somebody just barge into you and tell you that your phone is running off already 5% and tells you, don't charge it. Just increase the brightness and keep opening more apps. I want some, like, how would you react? And what, like, from your own perspective? Okay. Tell me, like, what do you think? I want somebody just to tell me before I proceed ahead. Your phone is already running off. And someone tells you, like, don't charge it, just increase the brightness and keep opening more apps. At that circumstance, at that moment, what will you say? Would it solve, okay, would it solve that problem? I want to tell you, tell me, like, would it solve that problem? Am I talking? Do you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, Dory. Like, what would you say really if someone tells you that? Imagine your phone is running off and tells you, like, don't touch your phone, just increase the brightness and keep opening more apps. What would you do that scenario? Like, what would you say to that person? Will it solve that
I
problem,
think
really?
I will not
Like, of
accept.
your phone? You will not accept, right? Why?
I will not accept. I will not accept it.
You will not accept, right?
Why? It's because the phone is already going down, and I'll not.
Okay.
Hello?
How do you normally feel? Yes, hello, I can hear you. Like, how do you normally feel when your phone is running off?
Yes, I won't accept that because
You, you, you you will not accept it, right?
is
Yes,
seeing
hello,
my
are you
phone
with me?
is off.
Mm.
I
Like,
always I always have the hello.
yes, hello?
Hello?
Yes, are you there? Yeah, I think Doris answered, of course, like, sometime when your phone is running off, of course, you would definitely react. You'd say no, because your phone is running off. What's the point now of you using, like, not charging it, not like opening more apps? Of course, you would say no, right? You need to recharge your phone. And yet, listen to me, please, yet we often treat our bodies exactly the opposite way. I'm telling you, that's how we treat our bodies exactly the same way. We are exhausted sometimes. We drink more caffeine. We are stressed. So we work longer. We are tired. So we push harder. We are angry. So we grab the quickest food available and we sleep deprived. So we tell ourselves, I will catch up on a sleep later. And sometime later never comes, right? People never say that. So that's exactly how sometimes we feel. You know, that's how we normally treat our bodies. Even when our energy is not there, we seem to just use our bodies. We don't even give time to rest. We don't eat enough. We always keep on exhausting until our body feels sick. Yesterday we talked of vision casting. How would you make sure you meet your goals you have to set? How make sure that you map out all the career that you've been on for almost years? If you're unhealthy, if you always feel sick, if you always go to the hospital, would even have focus, would even think, would even have good decision. So good afternoon, everybody. I really want to welcome everybody today. We are going to talk about something that is sometimes ignored when we discuss professional success. We normally ignore this, but it's the foundation of success. For us to meet our goals, for us to cast our vision, for us to create, for us to achieve our goals, this is the foundation. This is the core point. We shouldn't ignore this. Our physical health. Our physical health is really vital. When people talk about succeeding at the university, workplaces, leadership, or business, we normally talk about education. Yes, I know most of you, that's what we normally talk about, right? That's always comes in our brains. The first thing, education, right? Is skills, networking, intelligence, disciplined, and experience. Those are the things basically comes when we talk about succeeding in every aspect of institution today. But those things are important, yes. I do agree with all of you, I know. I know all of us right now, we can disagree to agree, right? Those points, exactly. Those things are really important. But there's something underneath all of them that is human being, yourself, your system, your body, who has to use what those skills. Without your body, do you think those skills will work? Do you think you're going to use those skills? Would you be able to pursue what you already established, your dreams, yourself as a human being? Your body needs to be healthy physically and also psychologically. You need to be healthy. You can have excellent knowledge, but if you are consistently exhausted, poorly nourished, dehydrated, sleeping badly, or physically inactive, it can become harder to perform consistently. So today, we are not talking about becoming perfect athletes, okay? Because I know when people talk of physical health, people think of, running, exercising, going to gym, and etc., etc. Or following extreme diet, because when we talk of when we talk of nutrition, people think of like extreme diet, things of food, like delicious foods, mutton food, things to do with, But we are talking about building enough physical capacity and energy to perform well and continue performing well over time. The goal is not perfection. Nobody can always start thing from scratch and be perfect. Perfection, that's not the goal. But the goal is sustainable performance. Physical health, nutrition that leads to that performance. The sustainable energy as well. They all leads to what? Sustainable performance. Your body is the part of the system. Okay. Your body is a part of the system that produces your performance today. So basically, this presentation today, the central goal is to connect physical health, nutrition, sleep, movement, recovery with energy, concentration, productivity, emotional stability, and professional performance. I just want to ask anybody, like I want to ask all of you right now, if you can hear me right now, I want to ask this question. I want to I want to reflect this question to yourself individually. When you hear the word physical health, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I just want you to be sincere. From the beginning, when you saw physical health, what normally comes to your mind? You can just unmute, and I cannot be able to see you. You can just unmute and talk. Maybe will start by introducing, maybe telling me your name, and then you answer my question. I wanted to reflect to this question. When you hear the words, these two words, physical health, what is the first thing that comes in your mind? Who is that? Please, you can tell me your name and proceed.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. This is Desire Dory. What normally comes first when someone talks about physical health, it is like you being actually not having any error actually in your body. Everything is okay. That's what comes to me.
Thank you, Desire. Yes, that's according to Desire perspective. How about you? Who else wants to talk? I wish all of us who could speak, but I think time will not allow. But I want another person for me to continue to the next slide. I want somebody to Desire said, like, whenever she hears these two words, physical health, like everything feels like, perfect. Everything feels like, like the body stable, you have no problem, right? Making sure that your physical health is is at place. Any other person?
Yeah, good afternoon. Um, I'm Tabu Monica, and according to me, I
Yes,
think
Tabu.
yeah, according to me, I think physical health is the ability of the body to be fit and perform, where you're active. You feel like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. It's all about the ability of the body and being fit for that moment. Yeah, thank you. That's my point of view.
All right. Thank you, Tabu. I think from with these two response, I think I know all of us want to speak right now. I know all of us can have different perspective whenever we hear these two words, physical health. Okay. But I'm telling you today, we're going to narrow everything down. We're going to be in depth really when we talk of physical health, nutrition, and sustainable energy. So building health habit for better performance, energy, and long-term well-being at work, in study, and in life. Because right now, as I'm talking to you, I know we are all in this category. We have working classes here right now. We have a student who are still studying, and we also have people who have some made life, like also still, insisting, living life. We are in this category. And exactly today, I'm going to narrow each down. I want us to start with a big picture of this presentation. I want you to, I want us to start with the big picture. When we often separate our professional life from our physical health, sometimes we say, my work is here, my health is something separate. It doesn't. Like, these are two separate things. That's what we normally think, right? This is my work. My physical health is different. Like, we always differentiate the two. But that's not right. But that's not really how it works, okay? Listen to me. Your body is the engine behind your performance, just like how vehicle moves. When a spare part of the vehicle is no longer working, what happens? It would not move. When there's no engine, when there's no tires, when the diesel or the fuel is running low, exactly, there's no performance. Think about your laptop. I want to give another analogy. You can have the best software in your computer. You can have excellent files. You can have a powerful programs. But if the battery is almost dead, the computer won't perform at its best, right? Who can confirm with me this? For those who have been using computers. Exactly, our bodies is just similar. Our bodies are similar to this. We may have knowledge, we may have education, we may have skills, we may have experience, we may have talents, we may have ambitions, but if we still need physical and mental energy to use those things effectively. When you're physically well, you are more likely to have the energy to concentrate, communicate, solve problems, make decisions, and remain consistent. Because your body is ready enough to face anything. The body will be able to fight diseases because I know when we're sick, nobody can feel like to do work. Nobody can think properly when your body is unhealthy. You cannot focus. So if you look at this presentation right now in this slide, you see it's always start from the physical health. Your energy, it leads you to focus well. If you have physical health, energy, you can be able to focus. You can be able to perform at your best level. And that leads to your long-term success. The career, the goals that you had, the dreams which comes to existence at that moment. I just want you to, I want to also exercise with me in this, okay? You can be sending in the chat, or you can also tell me, okay? I want you, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how energetic actually right now do you feel today? Just today, since morning, since you woke up today. Can you rate for me your scale, like the scale of 1 to 10? How energetic do you feel today? You can tell me. You can be able to unmute and tell me, or you can also be sending in the chat for those who will not be able to speak. Just send me from a scale from 1 to 10.
All right.
How energetic do they feel? Yes, who is that? You can tell me your name.
It's Deng, eh?
Okay, and you can also tell me the reason why you're not feeling like
Okay.
exactly the problem.
All right. I think I kind of feel like my energy has improved from morning. Okay, when I woke up in the morning, I was a bit tired, and then later on throughout the day, I kind of gained some momentum. I gained some energy, and I think it's because I started making plans for the week, and I think the idea that the week is going to be a positive week has improved my mood, and that's what I like, because I'm always like planning ahead, and if I don't have my plans right and I don't see something positive, it kills my mood. But now, like, the fact that I'm looking forward and I'm seeing a very clear week, it's making me feel positive about the week, and I'm more energized now. Like it's like there's some sort of motivation and excitement to go into the new week. So I think my rate would be
scale of 1 to 10. What would you rate, like, your scale?
Yeah, I think it would be like a 10. No, not a 10. An 8
10?
out of 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other person? Thank you so much for that. Thank you. In life, that's how it feels, Sometimes there are days we feel like when you wake up, things are going left, things are not coming according to our expectation. They always give us that problems in our mental. Like, they will deform us mentally. They will change our mood. They will not even allow us to focus. There, you will feel like you're moody, you're stressed, and then your energy becomes lower. Do I have another person that I left out that wants to speak? Okay. I think, notice that our energy can be influenced by many things, okay? Our energy today can be influenced by many things. It can be influenced because of the sleep, because of the food you eat, the amount that you consume, you just take this. Like, for those who will be working, who are working till evening, you don't even stand to stretch your body, you'll be sitting. And also the workload that we have, you can be spending almost the rest, like the whole day, working without even having, a break for you to rest. So exactly, these few things can always influence our energy. And this brings us to an important distinction today. Sometimes we think that we have motivation problem when what we actually have is an energy problem. I want us to have this distinction, between these two. Sometimes you cannot be focused. For instance, you hear in presentation. Right now, I'm presenting. You might not be focusing. You might not be motivated at some time. Okay. But we always actually, we have problem energy rather than the motivation problem. And that brings us with our second slide. Energy and motivation. We often blame lack of motivation. Usually, it is lack of what? It's lack of energy. It's not actually motivation problem. These two words are often used as if they mean one thing. They mean the same thing. Yes, sometimes, but they're different. Okay. When we talk of motivations just ask the question of how do I want to do this? Okay. Energy would ask the question of how do I currently have the capacity to do this? So let me give you an example. Imagine you are having an assignment, right? All of you normally be given assignment or reflections to do every presentation that you attend. Imagine at that point you having an assignment and the due date is tomorrow. And that's where now panicking begins, right? You begin to panic. You really want to complete it. Of course, that's the goal. You are motivated. Exactly. But you slept 3 hours last night because you were on your phone, Facebooking, WhatsApping, TikToking, I don't know, etc. You slept late, 3 hours late last night. You have been waking up all day, like all day. You have been also working the whole day. You have been working and you slept late, 3 hours. You haven't eaten properly that night. You sat down to work, but your brain feels slow. You keep reading the same paragraph, okay? You want to do assignment now. You can't concentrate, trust me. Why? You would say you have no motivation, right? Exactly, that's what will come. Maybe, but perhaps, right? Perhaps the bigger problem is that you are exhausted. You've been working the whole day and you slept late, 3 hours late last night. And you want to do your assignment. Really? I don't think you will be concentrated. You will lose motivation. Sometimes you feel like I don't feel motivated to exercise. But suppose you put on your shoe, you want to go and exercise, like for those who do athletics, right? Athletics, you just you don't feel like you want to exercise. You're not motivated at all. But suppose you put on your hard tires now, you put on your shoe and take a 10 minutes walk. After the walk, you'll feel a little more active. What happened? You didn't wait for motivation. You started with a small action, right? But before you said you don't have the motivation, you don't even feel like exercise. But you took action. You just put on your shoe. You started moving, slowly jogging, and then from there, little by little now, you're becoming more active, But you're already now feeling yourself like you're already doing the exercise that you expected to do. You didn't even wait for motivation, did you? But you acted. You started with a small action, not by putting what on your hard tires, on your shoe. That's why motivation should not be our only strategy. Motivation comes and goes, okay? It's something, it cut across. It comes and goes. Sometimes we feel excited. Like sometimes when you feel excited, you feel like you're enjoying your day. You are rolling your day, right? Because things are feeling your way, things are coming your way. Exactly, it comes and goes. Someday we don't, right? Even someday we don't feel like motivated. We are off totally, moody. But we can create systems that makes healthy actions easy. I want to ask you again, what exactly drains your energy during the day? I know most of you can give me tons of answers. All of you can give me different answers that always drain your energy off during the day. Maybe it's lack of sleep. Maybe it's too much work, poor eating, dehydration. You don't even drink. Perhaps you only take one bottle a day. It's stressed, sitting too long at work, too much screen time. You're also on your phone, Facebooking all the day. You don't even have time to drink. You don't even think of going and have lunch. But the statement is here. Don't build your entire life around motivation. Build system that protect your energy, and that system is your body. And this brings us to the nutrition basic, exactly how you can take care of your body. Nutrition, of course, it's the foundation of your healthy life. Let's talk about the food, because basically when we talk of nutrition, we talk of food. People think, I do remember back in our school, back in the days when we were in high school, we think balanced diet, because we normally talk of balanced diet. When you hear students talk of balanced diet, they always feel like, like when they see they cooked meat perhaps, or any, like things to do, like flesh, like chicken, meat. People now, that's our wrong ideology. We think that's balanced diet. On top of nutrition, of course, at the back of our mind, we talk of food. When we hear the words healthy eating, some people immediately think, I need to go on diet, of course, right? That's what we normally think. When somebody talk of healthy eating, you feel like, I need to go, I need to go on diet, I need to have, but that's not what we're talking about here. Healthy eating does not mean you can never enjoy your favorite food, your favorite meals. That's not the reason. Okay, when we talk of healthy eating, because people now differentiate kind of foods when they talk of healthy eating, right? But you can enjoy your favorite meals, but by following some principle. It doesn't mean eliminating carbohydrates, eliminating fats, eliminating vitamins, proteins. It doesn't mean buying actually also expensive fitness products, right? And it doesn't mean being perfect. I'm telling you, healthy eating, it's a balanced and a repeatable pattern. It's just something that you should do consistently, and it's healthy. It's balanced. The two words here, balance and repeatedly, consistently. Look at the plate that's already there on my slide. We have different components, right? If you see the colors presenting, the first color, that color, the vegetable and fruits. We have vegetable and fruits. We all know vegetable and fruit, what do they keep to our body? Variety and important nutrients in our body. Think about adding different colors, types when possible. Whole grains and starches, okay. This includes foods like what? When we talk of starches and grains. Rice, maize, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cassava, sorghum, millet. This food can provide energy. We all know carbohydrates, what they do, right? These grains. If you also look at proteins, it's just basically beans, right? But when people also talk another perspective, always they listen. When they talk of fish, I mean, like when people talk of proteins, they always think of, meat, fish. There are also options like beans, and that's the most common. I think around Juba here, where I am, I think most all the corners, you have chapati place, I don't know, everywhere almost. It's also part of the protein. Eggs, fish. Proteins support body tissues, right? And repair. Every part of this, they have also a vital role to play in your body. Likewise, to the healthy fats. When talk of healthy fats, of course, they are unhealthy one, right? The unhealthy one. But here, I think mostly around also groundnuts, seeds, avocados, cooking oils, right? Different, but more especially the raw ones. So the point isn't to fear fats, okay? That's not my point. The point is balance and a reasonable amount. Balancing, not considering much of one part of the food nutrition. Okay. Not consuming only one thing of the food, like one part of the food, but at least you balance your plate. Imagine 2 lunches, okay? You have a huge plate of rice, almost no vegetable, little proteins, and a sugary drink. You also have another plate also, that's a reasonable one, serving of rice, beans, fish, some vegetable, fruits, and water, So which meal is more balanced there if you see at these 2 plates? The first one was having a huge plate of, the plate says huge of rice, almost no vegetable, but little proteins, and sugary drink. You have also another drink on the side, to drink. But here, the second one is reserved, like serving a rice, beans mixed up with fish, some vegetable, and also food on the other side, and there's water. Instead of having a drink now, there's water here. I think most of you, I know from what I know, we might pick the first one. So, but we notice something. We are not saying rice is bad. We are not saying balance matters. Okay. What we are saying here, of course, balance matters here. Okay. It's really very important. We have to make sure that everything balances. It's not only be one part, like one side of the food that you're eating. I just want all of you to think about right now. I just okay, not even yesterday, but today, this afternoon, what you had, like the lunch that you had. Did you have a protein source on your plate today when you had lunch today? Did you have protein sauce in your plate? Did you have vegetable or fruit? A source of energy such as rice, maize, potato on the plate, like in the plate. And also water. Did you drink water or soft drink? Okay, listen to me. Right now you don't have to judge yourself, okay? I don't want to judge yourself. But just observe here with me. What we do is for us only to do awareness and comes to improvement. To improve our life. Exactly. When we improve on our health eating, this will bring us to the next slide. Hydration, the portion of food that you eat. How much food do you consume? It's also part of the healthy eating. Now let's focus on these two very practical habits. Hydration, portion awareness. Let's start with water. Water is one of the simplest things we can improve. I think all of us, because it's always available. You don't even have to buy for it at some point, right? When you are at home, maybe perhaps you went out, maybe that's when you can buy water. But when you're home, almost it's the easiest thing that we can improve on, right? Because it's simple and we can, why it's even simple doesn't even feel like we ignore it all the time. Imagine you're just sitting in a meeting for 2 hours, okay? You are tired, you are struggling to concentrate, you are thirsty. What's your first thought? I want somebody to answer for me, please, if you can hear me. What will be your first thought? Because right now, at this moment, different individuals will be thinking of different things right now. You are in a meeting, you sat for 2 hours, you are struggling even to concentrate. You are really like thirsty. What would your first thought be? I want someone to share with me. Just say it. If you can hear me, please. What would be your first thought here? I know someone can think of, I need a coffee, right? Someone who is used to coffee will be like, I need a coffee. You might not feel like drinking water. And someone can also feel like, I need energy drink. I need Pepsi. I need cola. I need, any whatever energy drink that they normally take. But sometimes the first question should be, okay, the first question before when you're considering, when you're feeling thirsty already, I want you to consider this question sometimes, okay? Have I had enough water today? That's the first question you should ask yourself when you are thirsty. Do you know even when we feel thirsty, that's when we have actually lost a much amount of water in our body. Exactly. When you feel thirsty, that's when now you have already lost much water in your body. So whenever you feel thirsty, ask yourself, have I had enough water today? I wanted to do this exactly. I wanted to put this practical strategy in your life. Always keep water within reach. If the bottle is on your desk, I think that's exactly more like now to drink it all. Have you ever feel like when you see water, when you see somebody drinking, you feel like drinking? Have you ever experienced that? I don't know if I'm the only one. When you have your bottle or water in your reach, it will likely you can drink it. So when you see water, when you have water in reach, you can easily drink it. Don't wait until you are extremely thirsty, like I said before remembering water. And remember that needs can vary. Exactly. That's why I asked you before. When you feel thirsty, somebody might think of, having coffee first, having a soft drink, especially in a hot environment or during physical activity. Sometimes you don't even feel like drinking water first. You should have, your favorite drink, or coffee, cup of coffee, or maybe a tea, cup of tea, right? Exactly. And this brings us to the portion awareness. And this brings us to the portion smart, right? So this doesn't mean you have to count the calories. Instead, become aware of what you are eating and how much you are eating. You can be served like, turn up like the size of the food that you're eating, right? That's when I talk of portion awareness. That becoming aware of what you are eating and how much you are eating, it's what we talk of, awareness. Are you aware of this? Are you aware of how much quantity of food do you eat? Have you ever continued eating simply because food was available? I think this most common with us, all of us, right? It's normal for every human. Sometimes you feel like you just continue eating simply because the food is available, or perhaps sometimes when it's your favorite meal, right? Maybe you're watching a movie, perhaps. So when you're watching a movie, you can even finish, I think, plates, okay, tons of plates, because your concentration is down. Maybe you just stop, okay, it just goes, right? And there's a plate beside you. When you're watching a movie, you can finish, you can eat, you can eat again. Eventually, you are no longer even angry. Okay, you're not even hungry anymore, but you continue, and that's automatic eating. One simple practice is for you to do it. Pause halfway through your meal. Ask yourself this question: am I still angry? Am I still angry? Like, am I still starving? That's it. You're simply creating awareness for your body. You shouldn't just eat because of the food is available. Ask yourself, am I still angry when you're eating? Because I'm sure also eating much is also unhealthy, and also eating less is also unhealthy. But you have to be aware of the portion of the food that you normally eat. Now let's address something very real here. Money. On top of budget, of course, money, right? Nutrition or realistic budget. Sometimes health advice sounds like, buy this expensive food, buy these supplements, buy this important product, but that's not the realistic for everyone, right? Health eating does not automatically mean expensive eating. Having a delicious meals, okay, expensive foods. That's not the point. We talk about balanced meals. Depending on what's available, affordable in your community right now, in your area, what's affordable that you can eat. Example, beans, utensils, like eggs, leafy greens. I think most of the African countries, leafy greens, of course, right? Vegetables are always, like, most especially Africans here. We like most of our custom foods, we normally like, they're always, on the leafy greens, right? And they're not even expensive. Groundnut, sorghums, millets rather, and seasonal fruits. And you ask yourself one day, sometimes there will be this season of guavas, there will be these seasons of mangoes, there will be these seasons of avocados. Do you know the reasons why God put it that way? Exactly. Seasonal fruits. God put it for a reason. Because at that season is exactly where your body needs to have it. So don't ignore when you see mangoes are becoming much in the market and being sold. This is the point of you're not eating. You need to consume the seasonal fruits. And they're not even much. I mean, they're not even expensive because now they are no, like, it comes in a much, being sold around almost every corner in the market because it's now the season. Let's think about budgeting. Imagine you have a limited amount of money for food this week or today. If you don't plan, you may spend money on snacks. Just, I know, you may be spending money on snack, on sugary drinks, fast food, impulse purchases, just buying things that you didn't even plan. That's why it's very important sometimes to plan. planning is important and decision. So by the end of this week, by the end of the week, I think if you just use your money on spend it in no way, like in just you may have spent more than expected. Instead, think of this. I want you to think. Like when you talk of thinking, of course you have to plan. When you're planning, you buy. When you buy, you do what? You cook. Of course, you can also store. You can also reuse and store when you have a fridge, right? So if you prepare a larger quantity of beans, for example, you can also use them across like several meals, right? For those who, if you have fridges, right, you can keep like what you've already cooked and reserve it maybe for the next hours that you. So you don't need to buy expensive, expensive protein products. Okay. So I also want to ask you this question: what are the 3 affordable foods that in your community that can contribute to a balanced diet? Right? If I ask you, I think you will have variety of the affordable food that you can have, like the most nutritious food, the foods that you can be able to buy and can contribute to your balanced diet right now. There are tons of them you can be able to mention. The goal isn't just the derivations, okay? The goal is making the best choices you can with the resources you have. What you have, it's what, it's not how much you have for you to have balanced diet. Because there are tons of foods that are also can balance your diet that you can be able to afford and can keep your health sustainable. So it's not what you have. It's not having meat, it's not having, chicken, but having fruit. Even the sum of money that like there's few resources that you have can also make you. And this brings us to the next slide. Sleep hygiene and recovery. When we talk about one thing ambitious people often sacrifice, one thing that most ambitious people think about, often they sacrifice, is sleep. Let me ask you this question, okay? Let me ask you this. What happened to you the day after you sleep very badly? What happens to you? All of us have experienced this. Even ask you, all of you can give me tons of answers. You may even feel tired, right? When you do, like when you never had a good sleep, when you have bad sleep, you can be irritated, you can be forgetful, you can even be unfocused at workplace or wherever you in school and every institution, right? You even feel slow to do things. You even feel unmotivated doing anything. But yet many of us say, I will sleep later. I think that's now becomes now the motto in our life. I will sleep later. I'll have maybe, perhaps a need. No. So the problem is that there is always something else to do. There's always something to do. Another assignment, another meeting, another message, another deadline. So sleep keeps getting pushed aside all the time. Imagine you woke up until 2 a.m. because you believe you are being productive. Then you wake up at 6. During the day, you make more mistakes because you didn't even have enough sleep. Of course, you make mistakes. You will even have to struggle to concentrate in a meeting, perhaps at work. Even walk slowly. You will be irritated. You even need like more caffeine. So you ask yourself, did those extra hours actually improve your productivity? At the end of the day, that's what you have to ask yourself. So I'm telling you, sometimes working longer doesn't mean producing better work. It's not how much you work. I mean, working longer that can bring, a good aftermath, a good, better performance. It's not how much you work. So, sleep hygiene. We can improve our sleep return through simple habits. Try to maintain a reasonable, consistent schedule. Always have your own schedule. What to do? I don't know how many of you have to do this, right? List. If you have if you have planned for your day, I mean for a week. I know most of us also have plans. Like you can plan for the whole week. What to do. So you have to do for the week. You maintain that reasonable, consistent schedule. Keep it that way on how you planned it. You should not let another things to come interfere because it will add more workloads to your plans already. Create a wind down routine. Reduce stimulating screen use before bed when possible. Don't always be on a screen after work. You also need time to sleep. You don't have to be on a screen. Make your sleeping environment comfortable. If it's time for bed, that's why it's say bedtime, right? When you go to bed, it's just for you to sleep. Okay, if you are on screen for some time, you can also have time to sleep. Be aware of caffeine later in the day. If it affects your sleep, so important message to sleep time of sleep is the part of performance. Recovery of brains, begins to function. So recovery isn't only sleep. Recovery also includes rest, relaxation, social connection, enjoyable activities, break time away from work. Movement helps us keep our bodies active. And that movement for visit professional, that's why I put it that way. Because most of us right now working for working classes perhaps, or maybe students, yes. So one of the most common excuses we hear, okay, I don't have time to exercise, right? But let me ask you this question. Do you have 5 minutes? Just minutes. Do you have 5 minutes of your time? If you do, don't you always need an hour at the gym? Don't you need 5 hours also to be jogging just next to your community? It's just to make movement part of the normal life. Lack of movement doesn't mean you should be jogging. It doesn't mean you go to gym. It doesn't mean you should be running. Just even also stretching out your body. Okay. So goal is that for us to have movement part of the normal life. You can walk. You can also stretch. You can take stairs. I know for us also, could be working for some big organization or maybe perhaps for the government, like big offices, there will be like lifts, right? Escalators. And we're always, used to that. You don't even want to, like, even if it's just only a stair, I mean, like the first floor. Like, I mean, yeah, or the second floor. You feel like also use escalator. But you can also use that time, take stairs. The more you take stairs, it's also on straight. Like, it's just also a movement of your body. Makes you move, So stand periodically. Work during phone calls. You don't even have to sit. If it's a phone call, that's also another movement. Like, that's the time for you also to be, give time to your body to be stretching, to move. Take short movement breaks. Okay. I wanted to remember this phrase. Movement snack. Okay. A movement snack is just simply a short period of movement during your day. One talk of movement. Just a phrase that I want to give. Take a movement snack. I will call it this way. A movement snack just simply for you to take short period of movement, during your day. You're at work, just take 5 minutes of walk, right? Maybe you're for lunch, take that 5 minutes for you to walk, to stretch your body. So walking while making phone calls is standing after sitting for a long time, taking the stairs rather than escalators or lifts. These things may seem small, but let's keep it consistent. Let's keep the matters consistent. Let's come to this. Task postures and physical strength. Now think about how many hours you spend sitting, okay? As a working class, as a student in the class, a professional at work. We sit while studying for students. We sit while using our phones. We sit while traveling. The problem isn't simply just sitting, okay? It is long periods of sitting. When you combine long period of sitting, poor setup, okay? When talk about poor setup, that shapes the posture, Okay, that's why I put the desk posture. Okay, more especially for fashion, well, in workplaces. So if you combine these long periods of sitting, poor setup, and little movement, if you sum all this up, exactly, that strains. Okay. Imagine like in this setup here, I put the correct setup here. Using a screen, like for those who have laptops, right? The screen might be very low, down, their head, maybe your head is bent forward, no, your shoulders are rounded, and your back isn't supported, and your wrists are bent. You stay like this for 5 hours. Just imagine that. How do you think you will feel later? Probably uncomfortable, right? You see, if you look at the image on my right hand, okay? So maybe your neck will hurt. Okay, there's chances where your neck might hurt. Maybe your shoulders will hurt. Maybe your lower back become uncomfortable. So that's why it's better for us to use this setup here. The correct setup. The monitor at the comfortable height, your back supported, your feet supported, your shoulders relaxed, your elbow comfortable, and your wrist reasonable but neutral. So there's no single perfect posture and that you have to freeze into all day. Movement matters, change position matters. You stand, you can even just stand up for a moment, just for a minute, you stand up. You cannot be able to study, you know, because your elbows, your hands might be, you know, like for time, you know. So has anybody experienced neck, shoulders, wrist, or back discomfort after working or studying for several hours? Absolutely, I'm sure most of us have experiences. So small changes in our setup and regular movement can make a big difference to how our bodies feels. And this brings us to the next slide, of course, the physical burnout prevention. How do we make sure we prevent this, the burnouts? Now we're going to talk about something serious, and that's burnout. Burnout does not just usually happen overnight. It can develop gradually. I want you to imagine you have a high demands. You aren't recovering enough, like having enough sleep. You become tired, of course. Your performance will drop, of course, because your performance drop. You become more stressed, more moody. You don't feel like even talk to anybody. You don't even feel like touching anything. So you work harder and you recover even less. But what's the point? But it's still the circle what keeps becoming, you know, higher demand. Of course, it will lead to what? To poor recovery. Of course, fatigue, reduced performance, more stress will be created. In a real life example, I can tell you that as students who studying during the day, working in the evening, responding to messages at midnight, you know, doesn't sleep, you know, on his or her phone, and sleep little, skipping meals, rarely moves, you know, and consistently what, saying, I will rest after the semester, right? Because they have a goal that they want to achieve. They want to give it their best for them to, you know, give to best GPA. But there's always another assignment, another examination, of course, will come. Another responsibility will come. So eventually they may notice persistent tiredness, poor concentration, irritability, sleep problems, loss of enthusiasm, okay? How do you interrupt the circle? That circle exactly. For you to interrupt that circle, that's what brings us to what? This 5 steps. You need to set the boundaries. Everyone has to have boundaries. I don't know, it was its second presentation, talked about boundaries. You need to also have boundaries. You need to recover from what you do by the end of the day. You need to also have movements. You need to have the best meals that you can eat. the balance and repeated patterns of your meals, and also have enough sleep to recover your brain, to recover your body. We need to recognize warning signs early. We should not wait until we are given warning. Our body gives us warning by giving you that warning of thirst. No, we should not be waiting until we thirst. That's when we drink. No, you drink. Always make sure. I think scientifically, a normal person should drink 5 liters a day. I think all of us are aware of that. And if someone is experiencing persistent or serious symptoms, seeking appropriate professional support is always also important. So there's no shame in asking for help all the time. Let's always seek for help where necessary. Building sustainable energy. Okay. Sometimes you feel like you're tired, you still have 3 hours of work. What do? Maybe sometimes you feel like you should take coffee, maybe an energy drink, maybe a sugary snack, because you're simply thirsty. But you still want to push through. So these things may sometimes provide temporary stimulation, but they shouldn't become the foundation of your energy. People always think like there's these energy drinks, right? Like I don't know, Stink and other kinds of energy drinks that people always think about. Right? So think about the analogy that I gave you, the phone analogy again. Your phone is just 5%. Instead of charging it, you turn the brightness up. Like you open more application, you increase the volume, you continue using it. Will that solve the battery problem? Let me ask you. Will it solve that? Absolutely not. You will need to recharge it, of course. You will need to charge your phone. You need to recharge it again. Sometimes we treat our bodies like that phone, Even if it is 5%, you just feel like opening more apps, play games, music at the same time, and it's only 5%. Come on. So we are exhausted. So we add more caffeine to our bodies, more work, more pressure, and also less sleep. But eventually, the system needs recovery. Our bodies need to rest. Our body needs to have movement. Our bodies need to be nurtured. Our body needs to have a balanced diet, balanced food, for it to work efficiently, for us to achieve our goals, our dreams. If you are sick, you will also be sick mentally. Your dreams, your thinking capacity will be lowered. You're becoming a leader. The leader that you always see in yourself will begin to fade away from your mind. You begin to look down on yourself. You begin to, your brain will become slower in thinking. Intelligence, you begin to lose it. Sustainable energy comes from foundation, balanced nutrition, hydration, sleep, movement, recovery, stress management. Quick fixes may feel fast, right? But sustainable habits are what carry you long term. If I ask you today, if I ask you right now, which area needs the most improvement for you right now? Is it nutrition? Is it hydration? Movement? Sleep? Recovery? I'm quite all of you will give me different answers. Habit is stacking for sustainable health. Now, when we talk about how we actually make these changes stick, because knowing what to do is one thing, right? This is where a habit is stuck becomes what? Become useful, right? Doing it consistently is another. The idea is just simple here, like I've shown you up here. Existing habit, if you just add it to a new habit, of course, it is going to be an easy return for you. You already have habits, right? You wake up every day, you brush your teeth, you eat lunch, you sit at your work desk, you finish your work, you go to school. That already existing in your life, right? But how about if you add just another one to that? Would it be a of creating an entirely new routine, okay, that's a new healthy behavior or habit to something that you already do. So it's going to be basic, right? Drink water, right? You can just add that. You can just drink water because there's need of water when you're brushing. So how about also, for instance, after lunch, if you take a short walk after lunch, because that's the time actually you will get up from your work, right? For those who are at workplaces, because you'll be sitting there on your desk, like you sit almost for hours, and then you're given that time, like lunchtime. But after that lunch, why don't you also have a short walk? You add that new habit, to that lunchtime, a lunch period. After sitting for an hour, you can also stand up and stretch, just sitting, standing up from the seat. After finishing your work, why can't you prepare tomorrow's meal? For you to have a healthy eating, for you to have nutrition, like a nutritious meal for tomorrow. Before going to bed, why don't you just put your screen away? Instead of you saying, let me text Sarah, let me text Deng, put it aside. You'll get Deng tomorrow. You'll text him in the morning. It's time for it. So existing habit becomes the reminder. I want you to think of this. I want all of you to think of one thing that you already do every day. Perhaps you eat your lunch, the healthy habits to that. After lunch, you can walk for 10 minutes. After brushing your teeth, you can drink water, right? Take 1 minute. I know for us, we like here in Africa, I think I don't know, but mostly people here, like we're only accustomed to one like one aspect, like where we only we only brush in the morning, right? And then the rest of the day is until tomorrow again. Maybe, but I don't know. Mostly. So the sustainable health framework here, I want to bring everything, what we've been talking about since. I want us to bring all of those healthy, nutrition foods, sustainable energy. If we put all these things together, I think we're going to talk about nutrition. Seriously, we talked of nutrition, right? Of hydration, movement, recovery, strength. These boxes. So these are connected. Think of them as a system, for example. Are we together? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we are here.
Are we together? Okay, thank you. So think of them as a system. For example, poor sleep can reduce your energy, right? We all know that. Lower energy can make you less active. Less activity can affect how you feel. Stress may increase. You may start relying on a quick energy fixes, and the recycle continues all the time. But the opposite can still happen, okay? If you improve your sleep, you may have more energy. With more energy, movement becomes easier, right? With better movement and nutrition, you may feel better. And certainly, several things start supporting each other. Every step keeps supporting the other one. A very important message to you. You don't have to fix everything at once. I repeat, you don't have to fix everything at once. One area today. Choose 1 to 2 areas today. Strengthen it, keep it consistent, then build it from there. You don't have to start everything together today. Choose one at a time. If it is energy, if it is a hydration that you need to work on, if it is your nutrition habit you need to work on, if it is movement and recovery, sleep and recovery, it should be one thing at a time. Strengthen that one step, just to form that one system, and that's your body, to keep a sustainable health framework. These areas do not work in isolation. They do not work in isolation. It's just a body, right? Like how our body works. They reinforce one another. The more one comes stronger, all of them become stronger. You cannot isolate one from the another. Realistic daily health routine. A simple day for a busy student or working professional, right? Make everything that we have discussed today practical, not just only listening to what I've been talking, I know, for 2 hours already. Not just only by listening, but I wanted to put this discussion in practical. I wanted to put yourself in this. I wanted to reflect it on your own life. Imagine this your normal day. You wake up morning. In the morning, you wake up, you drink some water. Just imagine that realistic, like that practical if you put it in your life. Just imagine it. One morning you drink some water, eat a balanced breakfast, if possible. Move for a few minutes. You don't even need an elaborate routine. At workplace, right? If you're at workplace, keep water near you, or maybe at school. You can just buy a bottle of water, keep it by your side. Eat reasonable balance. Right? Take short movement breaks. Pay attention to your desk setup, right? How do you sit? The posture. You should also always make sure that. I know most of us, we ignore the posture, the sitting posture, the setup. In the evening, you go home. I want you to also put this in realistic. Do some light activity after you get home. Eat balanced dinner. Start reducing unnecessary screen time. Just put your phone aside at least. If you're using it, okay, perhaps use it for 10 to 10 to 30 minutes, not longer than that. Now, this just isn't right. Like, if you reduce that, now you're coming to bedtime, right? Now you want to sleep. Create a consistent sleep now routine. Put everything aside. Give your body time now to recover, right? Now, this is not a perfect routine, right? But it's meant to be. Everyone has to have a different responsibility. The point is to ask, where can I introduce one health decision into my life, into my day? That's the point. Now, ask this question. Where can I realistically? And this brings us to the next slide. Exactly. I want all of you right now to do this practically. I want to do it practically. Choose from this. This is the most important part of the session today, because information is useful only when we apply it, right? It's only important when we apply it. I want each one of you right now to choose the commitment. You're not committing to me, but you're committing to yourself. Okay? I want you to take this personally, okay? Not 10. I don't want you to take 10 commitments. Not even 20. Just 3 of them. Look at the options you see on the slide. Maybe yours is drink more water. Perhaps you are good in that. You have no problem with drinking of water. Maybe perhaps you improve on meal each day. Because I know most of us, we punish ourselves. We only have 1 meal a day. We don't even eat. Even if we have capability, the resources for us to eat good food, we don't even feel like, because we are busy. We are busy working on our career. We are busy working, doing the tasks that we do in our daily activities. We don't even give time for ourselves. But should we improve that? At least to improve on 1 meal each day? Can you take a regular movement breaks instead of just sitting from morning till evening every day? Can you improve on your desk posture? How do you sit? Is your computer up or facing exactly at the face? Is your back aligned to the seat? How is shoulders move? How do you support your legs? Create also consistent sleep. Perhaps reduce late night screen. You say, I'm going to use only Facebook, maybe 30 minutes a night. I don't You know, it's just how you're going to commit to this now. Take it realistically. You're starting from today. You can start small, specific, but the action, it should be doable. Make it doable. Make them specific. Don't just write them. I'll become healthier. That's too broad, right? You cannot be there. That's too broad. Instead, say I will walk for 10 minutes for lunch on Monday. Tomorrow, yes. Wednesday, Friday. Don't say I will drink more water. That's so broad, right? But perhaps just say I will carry water bottle with me during work. So I want you to look at your 3 commitments and ask yourself this question. Can I actually maintain this after you feel this commitment, after you feel this feeling? I want you to ask yourself this question. Can I actually maintain these commitments that I've already set to myself? If the answer is no, make them smaller. From here, I would advise you. If you cannot make to this 3 commitments, at least choose 1 or 2. But remember, you should start small. It should be specific. Don't make it broader. It should be realistic. And most importantly, make it consistent. It's better than a huge goal that lasts 3 days, right? And that brings me to the conclusion of this presentation today. This final slide here. Your health is not separate from your performance. That's nothing. Simple, like they're always aligned together. They work hand in hand. It's the foundations of it. Your health is the foundation. And to conclude, eat well, move regularly, recover intentionally, and build sustainable habits. Perform at your best. Let me bring us back to where we started. Where Daniel, you remember Daniel from the beginning, the talented young professional who had ambition, knowledge, and skills, but was consistently exhausted. Why? The lesson wasn't that Daniel needed to work harder. He was able, he has everything almost. But he needed to understand that his body is part of your performance. I want you to also take part of this. I want you to reflect. I want to put yourself in Daniel's shoe. Your body is a part of your performance today, the future that you will make. And the same is true for all of us. If you don't need to become a professional athlete, you don't need to be an expensive diet. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need to change your entire life tomorrow. It starts with basics, please. Eat reasonably well, drink water, move regularly, sleep and recover, protect your energy, build small habits, repeat them consistently, because your health is not something separate from your career. If you're not healthy, you are not going to achieve that. You need to be mentally and physically well. It's not separate from your studies, of course. It's not separate from your leadership. It's not separate from your goals. Your health is part of the foundation that allows you to achieve those goals. So before we finish, I wanted to answer this one question to yourself. What is one thing you will change after leaving this room, after leaving this meeting, this Zoom? I'm not talking to somebody else. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking about this year. I'm not talking about another day. I'm talking about today, at this very hour. So this week, maybe it's drinking more water for you that want to start maybe next week. Perhaps protecting your sleep, maybe improving one meal. Perhaps it's finally taking recovery seriously. Whatever it is, but it started small. Because sustainable health isn't built through one traumatic season. They say Rome wasn't built in one day, right? So it's built through small decisions, repeatedly, consistently. So remember this: eat well, move regularly, recover intentionally, build sustainable habits, perform at your best. Thank you, everyone, and have a healthy, energetic, and productive daily. Thank you all. I think we have come to the end of our session. Thank you so much for paying attention and for your time being here. I know we only have 11 minutes, and I think to the end of our